Hey guys, and welcome to part 5 of the Land Cruiser 80 series Restomod build series. It's a bit of a tongue twister, right? Where we take you through a DIY draw system. Now, enjoy the video, enjoy the time lapses. We go through as much detail as we can. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. And please stay tuned to the end of the video where we're going to go through the materials used, the cost of the materials, and if there was anything I would have done any differently to the drawers. Enjoy.
A little bit of an update. Things are coming on. We've skipped ahead a little bit, so you probably, some of the time lapses you might have missed some of the bits, but what we've done is put the top on the drawer. Now that goes all the way into the side of the cruiser. What that allows is a nice little compartment all the way through to the wheel arch, which is really good, so we can put loads of bits and pieces in there. I'll just need to make an infill panel that clips in here. So just need to figure out some clips and stuff that makes it nice and neat and secures that in place. We've moved on to a fridge box. Now this is a pretty interesting little one here. So this will house my Dometic 40 litre fridge, and then it's got a secondary drawer, which is I'm busy with right now. So we're going to have the fridge slide. The fridge will actually slide out to about that position, so you'll have access to the fridge. And there'll be a secondary drawer just below the fridge that'll slide out even further, and that'll hold my gas cooker, my 2-burner gas cooker. Now I've always wanted something in terms of a kitchenette area where I've access to my fridge and the cooker at the same time, and I don't have to open and close drawers all the time. So this is what I've been looking for. And then on the cooker side drawer, I'm going to try and add a little, basically almost like a chopping board that slides out either towards in this direction or further out into the truck. We don't know yet, just got to figure that out. Then what's left is a skinny style pantry style drawer that's going to go here. That'll hold things like canned foods, spices, dry foods, all those kind of things. That'll be nice and skinny, basically the length of that area there. And then just next to that is more of like a pantry drawer, and that'll come up to about there. And again, that's more for pantry stuff. It's your pots, your pans, your utensils, all that kind of stuff. And that should come up to just below the window line there. And that allows me to have enough space for a gull wing box that we're going to build in. And that's going to be the shower area, which is going to hold all the hot water and what's not. Well, that's the plan. So, and then we'll have, once that gull wing box is built in there, there'll be a secondary infill panel here, which will have a nice compartment all the way towards the back seats. So you'll have one above each other on both sides. So you'll have another one. I need to introduce another one here just above the wheel arch, and then we'll have a secondary panel just below the window line there. And again, that'll introduce the gull wing box. It'll basically shoot up just underneath that stainless steel shelf there. That'll close all that stuff in. So this side is aiming to be like the bar area. So when, as you can imagine, once the awning, 270-degree awning opens up, you'll be covered here. The gull wing will open up, and you'll have access to like almost like a mini bar, something like the party area, I'm going to call it. And that'll be nice. We'll have a shower cube on this side, on the roof rack, and that will obviously, that gull wing will open up, and you'll have access to your water and whatnot. So Still a little bit of ways to go, so we just want to get the bases done of everything, then we start securing all the drawers down. But so far so good, pretty happy with the way it's turning out, and I'm loving these drill runners. They're really good. And yeah, we'll skip ahead and enjoy the time lapse.
Okay, quick update. You see a half-finished pantry drawer, but no footage. So I kind of kicked the cameras to touch last night. I ran into some technical problems with the drawer, and I had to figure that out and not worry about cameras and angles and stuff like that for 5 minutes. So there is a slight misalignment in the drawer in the box itself, so I need to figure that out. I've got a sneaky suspicion that's got to do with not enough strength in the box. I still have a rear faceplate to put in, and along with the front faceplate, so that'll keep the drawer square inside there. That's exactly what we need. The other issue I have, I didn't realise, is that my runners are like 2 or 3 mil out of alignment, so that causes you to really struggle to lock the drawer, and that's a big no-no. So these drawer runners are heavy duty drawer runners, and they're supposed to be a very smooth operation, like the utility drawer, nice and smooth, and it locks. Done. That's kind of what we need to get done on the pantry drawer. So we need to realign this, we need to take this apart, strengthen the pantry drawer itself, and then realign the runners and get that operating nice and smoothly. So that is the plan of attack now, and then we're going to move on to the next drawer. So let's get this done. Righty, done. So it's turned out really good. So that the issues that we spoke about last time, that was the case. It was a problem with the strength of the physical drawer itself. So with the backboard missing and it not being aligned correctly with the runners, that has proven to be the case with the drawer. It operates nice and smooth, locks into the position that you need to, and it seats home really well. So it's turned out really nicely. So we're going to move on to the pantry drawer now. So that'll basically close in that space there. So you'll have all this usable area here to get all your gear in, clothing, any other sort of gear that you're going to be taking on sort of trips. So the pantry drawer, the next pantry drawer is basically going to butt up to that, go to that point there. So it's going to be a short little drawer here, but nice and deep to the full length of the cruiser. And then we'll have another compartment like this one here, but slightly taller, but basically to the window line. So I've got an idea what we're going to put in there. because we still got to get a dual compressor in here and get some air and water supply, so we've got to work on all those items as well. So, and then we've got to mimic the same compartments on this side. So this is relatively simple. Basically it's just a bit of board we've got to slide in and then secure to the physical fridge box, and then just keep that nice and secure in there. So not much more to go. Once we get this drawer done, then we're going to start looking at carpet lining everything. So we're going to take everything out, carpet line it, and then do the finishing touches, and then bolt it all back together, and then bolt it to the body of the vehicle, so there's no moving parts or no loose bits, so it's nice and secure, doesn't rattle around. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, next stage is getting these runners mounted in the drawers. So I'm going to centralize the runners here, and then we'll carry over that measurement over to the physical drawer itself, and that should keep everything nice and central with enough gap below and above. And then we've got the plates or the board that goes over the top, and then basically forms that final shelf and that final cavity that's down here. A nice usable space for air, water and all that kind of stuff. So just get this mounted, get that drawer moving, and then we've got the face plate just to cut out, and that'll finish that drawer off, and we just got to get that board on there. So we're almost there, it's looking good. This one was, I keep making little mistakes with my measurements in terms of like the internals and the external dimensions. You've got to cut and keep on top of if you want to stay a certain height and where the boards are going to go. It's just I kept losing track, so I had to go back and cut, and honestly, so but it's one of those, it's just you live and learn with what we're doing. But overall it's relatively simple to put together. Yeah, just looking forward to getting it done now. So a little bit of an update. Cooking drawer is done. It's turned out really good. I'm very pleased, and on the sort of the finished product that where we're at right now. The plywood that we cut around the body here wasn't too difficult, to be honest. All we did was get a bit of cardboard. We matched the body line on the cardboard. We just kept cutting the cardboard until we got a really nice match, and then we just transferred that over onto the wood, jigsawed that out, and then just fettled the wood a little bit just to get a nice perfect fit, and that's fitted in really nicely. I'm very happy with that. That's like the final top layer for the drawer system, ready for the gull wings to come in. So that this will act as like a base layer for the gull wings. So if we do choose to make a compartment for the gull wings, like a boxing in area, because I would like that to be the shower area inevitably. So there will be a sort of a shower system that you'll access from the outside there, and then it's completely separated from the drawers, which would be nice. And that side I would like it to be some form of entertainment or the party area, so to speak. So, but overall the cooking drawers turned out really nice. Loads of room here for all your stuff that you need for cooking, utensils, you name it, that was the plan from the start, and I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out. Pantry drawer, again, that's come out trumps. Really happy with that. Utility, cooking, fridge slide, all really, really good. So what we're going to do now is 2 more bits of wood we need to cut, which is these 2 panels need to be matched in there. So what we'll do is with a transfer that we use on this side, we just turn that over and we'll match that on that wood there. So this is quite handy to keep hold of. And then we just have to match the same cut there on that level there. So these compartments will have little doors that clip in and out. So I just need to figure out some clips and see how we get those clipped in and out and make it a nice sort of a really nice finish, just so that it closes that whole body line in, so you don't see any sort of bit. So we'll put a seal in there of some sort to stop any dust or ingress of dirt, anything like that that goes in there. So just to protect the drawers as much as we can, and the rest of stuff you do, because as you can imagine, all the stuff is just, you're going to end up collecting loads of stuff over the years in there. What's really nice about the drawer system though, with the body ribs down there, it's actually created like some form of like an air gap, and if it does inevitably get any water in the back here, the water will be on obviously the lower ribs and not affecting the drawer system itself, which is pretty cool. It's unplanned, but it was really nice that it turned out like that. So I'm very stoked in how everything has turned out, from an idea to the drawing to physically making it, and it's in the vehicle and it's turned out really, really good. I'm very happy with it. So what we're going to do now is, everything is dry fitted. We've got to take everything out, make sure that the base layer is bolted down nice and securely, then start getting all the carpets covered over all the wood and give it that final finish and that final fitment, and close up all the gaps and make sure that all looks pucker, as I sort of say. But I'm very, very stoked where it is. So onto getting it all back out again and getting the carpet in there. It is one of those DIY jobs, you've got to take your time. If you want it done and finish it off really nicely, you've got to take your time. So dry fit everything, make sure everything fits, it all works. Now you have the opportunity to plan electrical routes, any water, onboard air, all those kind of things when it's dry fitted. So we can see that the drawers work, everything is good, the compartments are nice and deep, and there's loads of room everywhere now for stuff we want to carry with us. So now we can just work out electrical power supply for the fridge, where that's going to come through and feed the fridge, if there's anything else we need to bring through, and how we're going to route those cables, those power cables in those various areas. So it's a nice way to plan your drawer system if you're building it yourself, which is quite cool. So onwards and upwards now, get it all out, get the carpet on, get it all secure, and then we'll go from there. get into the meat and gravy, about the materials, the costs, and what I'll do anything differently, I'm going to take you through the drawers quickly to show you exactly what we've accomplished. So first and foremost, we've got the kitchen side of things. We've got the fridge slide and the cooker slide. Now the fridge is really tight fitting in there, which is turned out relatively good. So it catches a little bit there. It's not the end of the world, but the fridge still needs to be strapped down. I still need to add those little the mounting points for that. Cooker slide, plenty of space for my cooker. That opens up nicely. I did want to add a chopping board of some sort, and I think I'm going to retrofit something on the edge of the cooker slide there. I just ran out of space and materials, to be perfectly honest, so I'm just going to kind of think what we're going to add, and then once either a hook on chopping board that I can take off and probably slide next to the kitchen as it's, gets slid away. So and then secondly is the people who like to cook. Most of us enjoy cooking, and when we cook our meals we like spices and sauces and whatnot. There's nothing worse than having a work surface that is completely cluttered with loads of stuff. So I wanted to keep this area free just to prepare our foods, and then have the condiments and spices and stuff easily reachable from a place. So what we've done is created a pantry style spice rack drawer. Now this holds my utensils such as spatulas, tongs, knives, a little bit of oil, spice rack, gravy, canned foods, cups, whatnot, whatever you want to fill in there. Still needs to be filled up, and this is really nice. It's nice and reachable, quick, accessible. If you're either preparing your meal here, or you're cooking and you need to add some spices, which is really nice. So a nice little addition there. Okay, so moving on to the cooking drawer, this little beauty. I've added a recess for my my basin. I've added a recess in the drawer, so basically sits on the top and it just slides in. There we go, nice and neatly. It doesn't get caught on anything. And then I've got all my stuff in there for my fridge, teas, coffees, all those things that are quite nice for you could use for cooking, utensils, pots, pans, all that kind of thing. Then we've got the utility drawer. That is basically just tools, recovery gear, electrical gear, anything that I need for the truck, for maintenance, whatnot, and recoveries. That's in a protective bag, and that fits in there really snug, as you can see, really nice. And that's a full drawer all the way to there. And then we've got our 4 pods. Now the 4 pods, we still haven't decided exactly what's going to happen with these 4 pods. We did think about air going to go in this system here with a hole to connect it. We still have to get to that side yet. So, but at the moment, they've just basically pop in and out. I have thought about using some form of a runner latch or runner clip. You get these in cupboards and drawers and whatnot. So I did think about that. Haven't fitted them just yet. I just wanted to make sure that I was going to do it the right way. And what we've done is we've added the aluminium strip all to these edges. Anything that you are loading gear in and out of and you want to protect these wooden corners, that just gives it a nice protective area, but also gives it a nice finish across the drawer system, which turned out really nicely, which I'm quite pleased about. So we still have the gull wings to install. They're on their way, and then we'll finish that up with the gull wing boxes, and then I'll show you a video of the gull wings and what we're going to do with that. So, but more importantly, what you guys are probably interested in knowing is how much materials we've used. So we've used 4 complete sheets of 18mm ply. We've used a half a sheet of 12mm ply, about 1,000 staples for all the carpet, keeping that all locked in. We used a couple cans of adhesive spray. We've used a plethora of screws, wood screws for obviously all the woodwork. And then what we used for cutting, I'm sure you've seen in the video, is a jigsaw, which is probably not the best tool to use. I would recommend using a circular saw of some sort. It gives you nice straight cuts, and your joints will be a lot better. and a plethora of other little bits and pieces. The draw runners themselves, these are really nice. These draw runners, these are from a company called Vevor. I came across them on just a Google search. They're relatively inexpensive for the amount of weight they were carrying and their robustness, really. So I was quite pleased with that. So I went ahead and purchased 5 sets. So that cost me £185 for just the draw runners. Then I paid about 120 for the wood. And then the carpet was another £45 or £46, and that was a 4x2 meter, and that came with adhesive spray, which is really nice. I bought a staple gun, that was 20 odd quid. I bought obviously staples. We've got the aluminium strip, that was a couple of quid. What else did we buy? Another box of screws, various pieces. I think I worked it out, all in all is between 450 to £500 for the cost of all the materials. Now, how long did it take? It took me on and off about 5 days, maybe 6 days, messing around with the wood and cutting, stopping, you know, obviously got work and whatnot. So about 5 days doing it in your own time. So I didn't want to rush it. I wanted to take my time and get things right as much as I could, and it has turned out relatively well. I'm very pleased with the end result. So there are still a little bit of things that we still need to do. Like I mentioned before, get the electrical supplies in for the fridge. We'll need to get the roots in for the dual compressor. We'll need a water supply, those various things. So the drawers aren't 100% finished, but in terms of the build, it is complete, and very pleased with how it's turned out. Would I have done anything differently? Probably would have planned the carpeting a bit different. I would have, as I built each drawer, once I've cut everything and I know the drawers are going to basically work and fit together, then you carpet the drawer, then put it together, and then obviously you construct it that way. So what I've done is basically did all the wood, then did the carpet, kind of did it almost backwards, if that makes sense. But I had to get to a point where I knew everything fitted, then removed everything, and then basically disassembled and then carpeted everything. So it was a little bit of a long process, but if you want to get ahead of it and be a bit more slick with your time, then I suggest as you're building your drawer and you know it's all built, make sure you've also, another top tip is make sure you've got enough tolerances around your drawers internally and on the front face plate. So when you close these drawers with the carpet, you've obviously allowed for enough tolerance for the carpet to fit in there. So I have been caught out a couple of times and had to make a few adjustments here and there. So the drawers aren't perfect, but they work. And they will do the job and exactly what I need them to do, to be perfectly honest. I don't need a picture perfect set of drawers. I just need something that works and something that is practical, and I'm sure that's all of us out there what we would like to use. So, but this was a great project. Few people got involved, gave me a hand in terms of cutting materials and got things done. And the funny thing is, I got all this constructed on a really small rickety plastic table. Honestly, I don't know how I did it, but I got it done. So I would suggest employing some help, getting some beers together and enjoying this, because it is a really fun project. I did learn quite a lot, and I did make a few mistakes along the way, especially with my measurements in terms of the drawers, because you've got your internal and your external dimensions, and you've got to think about your spacing, and then the draw runners and the spacing for that, and then the spacing for there's a lot of things you've got to kind of think about as you go. But you quickly pick it up, and it is a nice skill to learn. So, but very happy with how everything just basically fits together nice and snug. All the cuts have been done very well. We just need to figure out these little mounting points, how are we going to do that. That's really tight, which is quite nice, but I'd really like it to seat home in a nice sort of straight way, and then you know it's never going to come off. But I thank you so much for getting this far in video and watching and supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. If you guys have any comment suggestions, please let me know. If you want the drawing, I do have the section drawing of the physical drawers. I can give that to you. I have a PDF of that. In terms of the physical depth of the drawers, the external dimensions is 840 to the back panel, because we do have an electrical panel which is behind the seat, so we've lost about 100 and 150 mil of space there. So we've got about 800 mil drawers, so to speak. So we've made as much use of the space that we can. In terms of the height, we're looking at about 650 mil high for the physical fridge. I could have probably gone a little bit higher for the fridge. I've kind of probably made it a bit too small there, because it is slightly tight for the fridge. It's not a problem. The fridge can still breathe and vent all the heat away from the fridge, which is great. But in terms of obviously moving the fridge in and out, it would have been nice if I had probably about a 10 mil gap there, because if I do change the fridge in the future, I think I might be a little bit restricted. So I need to bear that in mind. But overall, very, very happy. And again, thank you so much for watching me, and join me in the next episode where we do some fabrication, where we're going to be building a rear bar and redoing the front bar. I'll see you in the next one.
I have exorcised the demon.